Welcome to today's video. Today we're talking about life challenges. So I want you to look at these pictures. Have you experienced any of these situations? Graduating from college, passing a driving test, looking for a job, or a breakup? What happened? Think about this so we can share in class. Now, what other challenges do people face in life? Please pause the video and write down a few ideas. We will use this during our lesson. Great, let's continue. Let's read this conversation. Hey, what's wrong? Well, I started college in 2 months, and I'm so anxious that some days I can't even sleep at night. That's not good. Taking up a new challenge can be stressful, but it is such a good way to prove yourself you're capable of doing anything. I know, it is just I haven't been by myself before, and I don't know how I'll balance everything. Well, to be honest with you, adjusting may take a while, even a few months. Do you consider this to be true, that adjusting may take a while? Right, me too. So, now, let's go to student book page 33, exercise A. Here, we're going to add one word to each sentence and cross out the underlined part to keep the same meaning. You may use the web page on page 32 to help you. Let's do number 1 together. You may get anxious, and the result will be that you will take refuge in your room. In this case, I rewrote it as you may get so anxious that you will take refuge in your room. Now please pause the video and work on the other sentences. Okay, number 2. Taking up a new sport is such a good way to make friends that you won't regret it. 3. Adjusting to college may even take a year. And 4. Before you go to college, you may only think about the fun ahead. Did you get them right? Great. So, here, if you notice, I have the same sentences. Which sentences emphasize the result? Which one emphasizes something surprising? And which emphasizes that it is just one thing? Pause the video while you work on this. Okay. So adjusting to college may even take a year. This is something that is surprising. Before you go to college, you may only think about the fun ahead. Just one thing that you will think about, right? Nothing else. Taking up a new sport is such a good way to make friends that you won't regret it. In this case, we are emphasizing a result. You may get so anxious that you will take refuge in your room. We're also emphasizing a result. Let's take a look at how you the result effect of use expressions. So, or such a, or an, that. Now, what is the difference here? Well, let's look at the first example. You may get so anxious that you will take refuge in your room. What did I use after so? Anxious, right? An adjective. So you're going to use so when you are going to use only an adjective. So anxious that, and then of course the result, you will take refuge in your room. Taking up a new sport is such a good way to make friends that you won't regret it. In this case, even though I am using an adjective good, I am actually talking about a noun, a good way. So that's why we're using such a or such an. And then of course I have my result. You won't regret this. So remember, if you have a noun, use such a or such an. And if you have an adjective, use so. Let's continue. Now, we can emphasize surprised and that there is no one or nothing else. So we can use even to emphasize that something is surprising. Adjusting to college may even take a year. That's what it's surprising, right? That it could be even a year. You can use only to emphasize that it is no one or nothing else. Before you go to college, you may only think about the fun ahead. That's the only thing you will think about, nothing else. Okay, so here I have 4 sentences, but they are incorrect. For example, it was so a great movie, I have never seen anything like that. In this case, of course, because I have a noun, a great movie, it doesn't make sense to use so. So we're going to use such. Now pause the video and work on the other 3. Let's see. His grades are low because he only thinks about video games. They were so happy that they decided to have a party. And the last one, I can't believe they canceled the event. I even rented an expensive dress. Did you get this right? Great. Now, please go to workbook page 20, exercise A. Here you need to circle the correct word to complete this website. Let's begin. As a young entrepreneur, I've had to face many challenges. The first was to convince people that I needed to drop out of college in order to start my own business. My parents were upset that we barely spoke for months. If you notice, we have an adjective, so we should use so. My best friend thought it was a bad idea. In this case, this is something surprising, so even my best friend. I finally realized that only I could make the decision. Pause the video and work on the rest, then come back to check. Let's see. And so I went ahead with my plans. The second challenge was to find time for a social life. Building a business from the ground up was such hard work that I didn't even have the energy to go out for coffee with friends. A different sort of challenge came from the fact that I was so young. Since some of my potential clients didn't think I was old enough to take on such a huge responsibility, I remember one of them saying, "You are only a college kid. How can you possibly be running a company?" Remarks like that were so discouraging that I wonder at times if I had made the wrong decision. Ultimately, though, I was so committed to building a successful business that I refused to give up. Did you get this right? Excellent. Now please notice that we use even and only before what we want to emphasize that it is surprising or that it is nothing or no one else. Now, please go to student book page 33, exercise B. Here we're going to use to complete the conversations using so that, such a, or such and that, only and even. Let's do the first few together. What problems do people face when they move to a new city? My friend said he didn't even anticipate how difficult it would be until he moved last year. He said finding an apartment was such hard work that he ended up taking refuge on a friend's couch. He got a place a month ago. He only got a place a month ago. Now pause the video and work on the rest, please. We're going to check in class. I will see you then. Bye bye.